Welcome to the Tech Life Well podcast. We're delighted to have you with us.
Where we make technology simple, thoughtful, and useful. For more insights and episodes, visit techlifewell.com.
Have you opened your phone lately and just felt like your feed is talking at you, not to you?
Ooh, yeah.
I'm talking about that sort of pervasive low-level sense that your search results are less trustworthy, your feeds are super repetitive, and honestly, the comment sections feel engineered or, I don't know, just empty. It's this fundamental vibe shift online, and it's unsettling. The volume of noise just seems to have spiked.
It absolutely has, and that feeling is entirely quantifiable. For this deep dive, we are tackling the concept, the kind of dark economics, and the true impact of the term that's really crystallized this whole phenomenon, AI slop.
Okay.
Our mission is to go deep into the research brief to understand how this low-quality AI-generated content hasn't just flooded the internet, but has, fundamentally changed how the platforms themselves behave.
Right, and we have to start with a definition, because while the content has been creeping up on us, the term itself has gotten massive recognition, and surprisingly fast. So what are we talking about when we say AI slop?
So simply put, AI slop is this massive flood of low-quality, low-effort digital content. It's produced at scale, primarily with generative AI. It is disposable filler.
Disposable filler.
Yeah. And crucially, its main goal isn't to inform you or entertain you with substance. It's built specifically to capture a fast click, manipulate engagement metrics, or just maximize ad revenue for whoever made it.
It's content for the algorithm, not for people.
Exactly. Not for the human.
And what I found so interesting in these sources is how formally accepted this term has become. This isn't just internet slang on some niche forum.
Not at all.
By late 2025, Merriam-Webster had a definition, and the American Dialect Society, they selected slop as its 2025 word of the year. That's a really fast track from just a niche feeling to, institutional validation.
It really is. It shows how profoundly this whole issue hit the mainstream.
Okay, so let's unpack where this term even came from, because we've had bad content since the internet began. We've had clickbait forever. Why did slop stick to AI content specifically?
Well, the word got its modern AI-specific meaning right when mass production became, trivial. The developer and writer Simon Willison is credited with amplifying it back in May 2024.
Okay.
He explicitly proposed that slop should be the clear umbrella term for unwanted AI-generated content, the same way spam became the umbrella for all unwanted email, right?
Right, even if the spam changed from simple text to these complex phishing schemes.
Exactly. Slop is the spiritual successor to spam, only now it's visual, it's audible, and it's much, much harder to filter out.
That distinction is so key. Spam was a tech hurdle. You build better filters, you stop the garbage. But slop feels different.
Yeah.
It's like the filters just can't keep up. The research brief points out that this feeling, this sense that the internet is off what some people have called the zombie internet vibe, it's actually the result of 4 powerful overlapping forces.
That's right. It's not one single thing. It's a systemic perfect storm. And we need to understand that all 4 of these forces are working together, reinforcing each other. The first one, and it's the most foundational, is the near zero marginal cost of content production. Before generative AI, creating a good video or a detailed article took human time, effort, maybe some specialized knowledge.
Sure, a real investment.
A real investment. Now, generative tools just collapse the cost of producing images, voiceovers, scripts, even entire short videos. So content goes from being a semi-scarce resource to this abundant, cheap commodity. The human effort bottleneck is just gone.
And that low cost runs right into the second problem, platform decay. This is Cory Doctorow's idea of enshittification. For anyone who isn't familiar, how does that manifest for us, the users?
Well, enshittification basically describes this 3-stage life cycle of a successful platform. First, they treat users really well to get everyone on board.
Well, good old days.
Right. Then, once they have a critical mass, they start prioritizing their business partners, the advertisers, the big creators, often at the expense of our user experience. And then eventually they just prioritize themselves, locking everyone in and extracting as much value as they can.
So for us, that means our feeds get worse, search results get clogged with ads, and the quality of everything just drops because the platform is optimizing for its own revenue, not our satisfaction.
Exactly. So platforms are actively degrading our experience to maximize their take, even as AI is making it cheaper to produce the garbage they're feeding us.
Which leads directly to number 3, attention optimization.
Precisely. The ranking systems, the recommender engines that decide what you see next, They rely on engagement metrics: views, watch time, shares.
The easy stuff to measure.
The easy stuff. And so this system amplifies content that triggers fast, often emotional reactions: outrage, curiosity, intense awe, humor. And while engagement might spike for a second, users in the aggregate report lower satisfaction later on. You clicked, but you didn't actually get any value.
And if it's cheap to make and the platform is rewarding these fast emotional clicks, then we hit the final force: discovery pollution.
This is maybe the most frustrating part for the everyday user. Discovery pollution is where AI-written pages or posts, they mimic genuinely helpful formats.
Oh yeah. You search for a recipe or a travel guide.
A travel guide, a product review for something niche, yeah.
You get bombarded with these AI articles that look right. They have headlines, photos, listicles, but they're shallow, often just factually wrong, or they're just bad copies of existing human content.
They're just gumming up the works.
They are. They clutter search results and feeds, making it actively harder to find the genuinely useful, human-vetted information you actually need.
So if you sum that up, it's cheap to make, the platforms are financially driven to push it on us, and the result actively makes the internet worse. It's a vicious cycle where volume just beats quality every single time. So how do we spot slop in the wild? Because we agree, not all content that uses AI is bad. A publisher using AI for subtitles is great. A content farm using it to generate 100,000 listicles is slop. Give us some practical identifiers. Okay, the core of spotting slop really comes down to recognizing a lack of originality and excessive templating. Look for telltale visual patterns. Recycled stock-style imagery, often with this overly literal or uncanny quality to it.
Right, like that Shrimp Jesus style where the AI gets close, but it fundamentally misunderstands lighting or anatomy.
Or physics, yeah. It's a classic sign.
You see it in the visuals, where things are almost there, but the hands look melted, or a building in the background defies gravity. It's that subtle, unsettling wrongness.
Precisely. And beyond the visuals, you can listen for generic narration with odd emphasis. The voice might sound professional, but the cadence is unnaturally flat, or it stresses weird words.
Yeah, non sequiturs.
Right. And textually, look for titles just stuffed with keywords, these thin listicle structures that lack any verifiable first-hand details. But the biggest giveaway, it's the velocity, the sheer frequency of publication.
How often they post.
Yeah. If a channel is publishing 10 videos an hour, every hour without fail, you're looking at industrial-scale slop.
That makes the distinction so clear. AI-made content is not automatically slop. The divider is the human value add and the intent. Is the goal to harvest impressions, or is it to add genuine craft or insight?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the question then becomes, why are the platforms rewarding this high-volume, low-quality stuff in the first place? It feels so counterintuitive if their goal is to keep users around.
It really does. I mean, surely if users are constantly dissatisfied, they'll just leave, right?
That's the long-term risk they're taking, but in the short to medium term, their structure rewards volume. These modern platforms, they allocate attention using complex recommender systems tied to very measurable signals: views, watch time, shares, comments. So when generative tools make it cheap to produce 1,000 slight variations on a theme, say, 100 different versions of a viral clip with different music creators can just flood the zone.
And the platform's algorithm becomes a huge automated A/B testing machine. It just picks the winners for you.
Exactly. It efficiently picks the 1 or 2 winners out of that batch of 1,000. So the equilibrium just shifts to a content factory model where quantity isn't just a factor, it's the primary strategy.
It is the whole game. Let's drill into the money angle in the short form space, because the specific monetization rules are what push this into hyperdrive.
Okay, take YouTube Shorts. Their model is fundamentally different from traditional YouTube. Ad revenue isn't tied to your individual videos, it's pooled across all the creators.
A communal pot.
A giant communal pot for the month, yeah. Your slice of that pot is based on your share of the eligible engaged views relative to everyone else's.
And that pooling model is the key incentive.
It is, because every single view you get takes money out of that communal pool that could have gone to someone else. So if producing 100 cheap disposable videos gives you a bigger share of the pie than one expensive, high-quality video,
the math is simple.
The economic rationality dictates: produce the cheap 100. The system incentivizes maximizing your engaged views through sheer relentless volume to dominate that pool. It becomes a race to the bottom where the most efficient automated producer wins.
And then you have TikTok's Creator Rewards program. They have different hurdles, but they also demand volume.
They have high eligibility thresholds. You need at least 10,000 followers, 100,000 views in the last 30 days, and videos have to be original and at least a minute long.
So the pressure is just constantly on to feed the machine.
Constantly. If you're a slop factory, you have to generate massive volumes of content just to meet those metrics and stay eligible for payouts.
And the research highlights another element that makes this globally scalable: global arbitrage.
This is a critical factor. A lot of these slop creators operate in regions where local wages and costs are substantially lower than the potential platform payouts from major ad markets like the US or Europe.
So if a template that generates 1,000 videos costs you, say, $10 in computing and labor, but it generates $200 in revenue from the ad pool.
It's an incredibly rational, high-return business model.
Which means the economics driving this aren't based on what users want. They're based on global wage gaps. They can afford to throw thousands of pieces of disposable content at the algorithm every week.
And that is precisely how Slop becomes industrialized. We're not talking about one person tinkering anymore. This is a highly optimized, systemic operation. The research lays out a very clear 5-step Slop scaling model. It's like a factory floor.
Okay, let's walk through this mechanism. It starts with step 1, template.
Right. The factory chooses a repeatable, viral format. Think of those AI cartoon shorts promising life hacks that don't work, or fake disaster reports, or those generic history listicles that are visually busy but factually empty.
The key is that it has to be infinitely replicable. No human creativity required.
Exactly. Then step 2 is automation. This is where the generative tools come in. Script, voice, captions, visuals, all generated in minutes, scheduled in massive batches, thousands of pieces of content ready to go.
Then comes the moment of truth. Step 3, A/B testing by platform.
The recommender systems are the ultimate gatekeepers. The automated posts are released. The weak ones, the 98% that don't get immediate engagement, they just die. But the strong ones, the 1 or 2% the algorithm favors, get massive, immediate global distribution.
The Slop factory doesn't even have to curate. The platform does it for them.
It does all the heavy lifting, which leads to step 4, iteration. And this is relentless.
Relentless.
Absolutely. Once a winner is identified, the factory copies the core of that successful post, the structure, the audio, the emotional trigger, and it just changes the superficial details. A different voice, a different photo, a slight visual tweak, and they publish again and again and again. It's a perpetual feedback loop.
And finally, step 5 is monetize.
That's the payoff. Whether it's direct ad revenue, affiliate links for cheap products, or funneling users off-platform to buy courses or join Telegram groups where they push other schemes, the loop is complete, near zero cost to measurable profit.
But I want to pause here for the counterpoint, because it's easy for this narrative to sound anti-AI. We have to reinforce that AI is also used for genuinely good reasons: research, translation, captioning for accessibility, editing.
Absolutely. The key dividing line is, again, intent. Is the technology being used to add meaning, accuracy, depth, or craft, to make something easier for a user to access or understand?
Ooh.
Or is it being used to maximize the production of disposable filler designed purely to harvest impressions? The tech is neutral. The scaled industrialized intent is the problem.
Okay, so this is where the focus shifts back to the user experience. How did this take over short-form social media, TikTok, Reels, Shorts specifically? Why is that the perfect habitat for this?
Well, short-form video is perfectly designed for the Slop model because it drastically compresses the risk of disappointment for the viewer.
What do you mean by that?
If a video is boring or weird or just clearly low quality, a viewer just swipes away in half a second. Low-effort content can survive and even thrive if it reliably triggers a fast reaction shock, cuteness, absurdity, because you move on before you can register any deep dissatisfaction.
The bar for success is just so much lower.
So much lower. The required engagement is mere seconds.
And I've noticed the repetition. The same audio tracks, the same visual templates over and over. I always assumed that was just, lazy creativity. But you're saying that repetition is actually a feature.
It is a deliberate algorithmic optimization. Content with familiar patterns reduces cognitive load. You instantly recognize the format, so your brain doesn't have to work to figure out what's going on.
Right, it's easy to watch.
It's easy, and that familiarity often increases completion rates, even if you're just passively watching. And higher completion rates signal engagement to the algorithm, which then promotes the repetitive content even more.
The scale of this is it's staggering. And we have concrete data now. The December 2025 report, summarizing Kapling's research, gave a really powerful indicator of how saturated the whole ecosystem is.
That research was a genuine wake-up call. It claimed that more than 20% of videos recommended to a brand new YouTube account, one with a totally blank viewing history, were categorized as AI slop.
20%. 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5 initial recommendations is mass-produced filler. And on top of that, a set of AI slop channels they identified had collectively amassed tens of billions of views. That is an enormous amount of digital noise being prioritized over human content.
That scale explains why the platforms have been so reactive. They're playing catch-up, trying to adjust the very monetization levers they built that caused this flood in the first place.
They're targeting the economics. Starting in July 2025, YouTube updated its guidance to classify mass-produced, repetitive, or algorithmically generated content as inauthentic content.
Which makes it ineligible for monetization.
Exactly. The rule change is explicitly designed to destroy the business model of the slop factories.
It's a direct assault on step 4 of that scaling model, the iteration phase.
It is. They're trying to force human ingenuity back into the loop. And TikTok, like we said, uses that 1-minute minimum length requirement for its creator rewards program.
Which creates a friction point.
A small friction point, yeah. It discourages the ultra-short, 15-second repetitive slop. It requires just a little more effort, which can be enough to kill the profitability of the fastest, cheapest factories.
And even Meta Facebook recognized the structural failure here.
Yes. They made a big systemic change in August 2025, ending their older monetization programs like ads on Reels and performance bonus to shift toward a unified and presumably stricter approach. The platforms finally recognized their old incentives were rewarding the very thing their users were complaining about.
So we've covered the entire supply chain, from the near zero cost of the tools to the powerful ad incentives and the optimized algorithmic distribution. So what does this all mean for you, the listener, in your daily digital life?
The primary takeaway, I think, is to empower you to be a better curator of your own experience. You have to understand that while engagement metrics are easily measured by the platform, quality is entirely contextual. It's subjective to you.
Right.
Knowing how slop is generated and distributed lets you identify those patterns and actively use the platform's feedback tools like the not interested button to train your algorithm toward content with genuine human value, not just whatever captures the fastest click.
It also means we have to look past the content itself and start questioning the systems that feed it to us. We talked about how the algorithms are optimized to amplify content that triggers fast, strong emotional reactions, outrage, all because that maximizes short-term engagement, even if we report lower long-term satisfaction.
And this raises a fascinating, maybe even a chilling question to mull over. If the algorithms are successfully optimized to maximize a metric like clicks or watch time, but that optimization actively leads to content that users fundamentally dislike, what does that mean for the future of these platforms? Is the content truly reflecting user preference, or is the system just achieving perfect optimization of a faulty, short-sighted metric? We are engaged, but are we actually being satisfied? That's the puzzle we all have to grapple with.